Well, hello, welcome again to our reading of Plato's Symposium. I'm up to section 176. So, metatauta ephe kataklinentos to Socratus, kai debnesantos, kai ton alun. Spondas te spas poiesastai, kai aesantas ton theon, kai tala ta nomidzomena, trepestai pros ton poton. He said, after these things, and we get a genitive absolute here from kataklino. Now this is actually an aorist passive participle, so it's probably something like when Socrates had been seated, rather than reclined, but when he had been seated, and part of the genitive absolute, and having dined, and also the others. So we've only got a singular participle here, but he adds on kai ton alun. So you have to understand the others having dined. He said that they, is including himself here, this is the sparse reflexive, that they, having made libations, spondi, connected with the verb spendamai, to pour a libation, and having sung, this is from aido, to sing, so having sung to the god, so sung a hymn to the god, kai tala ta nomidzomena, and this is a standard expression, and the other matters which are customary. So the other, having performed all the other customary things, he said that trepestai, they turned pros ton poton, to the drinking. So all the formalities over, they turned to the drinking. Ton un pausanian ephe logu toi utu tinos kat arcane. And he said that Pausanias then, so that's the he said. So he said Pausanias then, now kat arcane, something like commenced, made a beginning of the following certain word or account or story. So he said that Pausanias then began to say the following. Katarko can be used it's often used in a religious sense of beginning some religious rite, and it's got slight overtones here, so he's beginning the formalities or beginning the speech, which will eventually form the main part of the work. So he commenced with the following account. Aen andres phanai tinotropon raista piometha. Now Aen is just that, almost like clearing your throat. It's sort of well then. You'll see this in Greek tragedy as well. So come now, or well then, gentlemen. And now we have an Ephe. He said, that's Aristodemus said that Pausanias said. It's that usual situation we've had here. So the phanai refers to what Pausanias said. Tina tropon reista piometha. Now piometha is future from pino, and it's literally by in respect of what mode will we drink raista. Well, perhaps it's literally most in the most easiest way. So perhaps something like most comfortably. We could turn the scholiast, by the way, says that this is, the scholiast glosses this as heidista, in the most sweet way, in the most pleasant way. You could turn the sentence around a little bit and say what mode of drinking would be the most agreeable, or what would be the best or the most agreeable. Ego men un lego humin hoti to onti panu kalipos echo hupot to kthes potu kai diamai anapsukes tinos oimai de kai humon tus polus. I then I say to you that, now to onti is idiomatic, it just means in reality. It's a fairly common idiom here. So therefore I say to you that in reality, now here's echo plus adverb that we've seen numerous times. It's very common in Plato and in Greek prose, simply meaning to be. So I'm very much the worse for wear, we would say in English. So I am very much in a poor state because of the drinking there's yesterday. Kai de'amai, and I am in need of, and it takes a genitive, of some anapsukes respite. It's almost like I need to get my breath back, but so I am in need of some respite. Oimai de, and I think also that many of you understand are in the same situation. Parestiga kthes, for you were present, for you lot were present yesterday. Skopes theun tinitropo an hos reista pin oimen. So I've got an optative here again from Pino. So it's look or take account, therefore, literally again, by what means or in what manner we might drink as best as possible, literally, and perhaps as moderately as possible. So again, you could turn it around and say, look carefully then, what mode of drinking would be the best, what would be the most agreeable. Ton un Aristophane apain, tu tormentor eu leges o Pausania, topanti tropo parascu asastai, reistonain tina tes posios. This is well, it seems that whenever Aristophanes speaks, his Greek is always much harder to follow in this work, I think, from memory. But anyway, so he said that Aristophanes said, now it's literally you, moreover, or you, however, are speaking this thing well, O Pausanias. And now we get the top goes with the parascua sasthai. We've got the repeated panti tropo, in what manner. And we've got an abstract roastone replacing the raista adverb. And we've got an abstract noun here, tes posios, from posis, connected with pino. The perfect of pino is, of course, pepoka, so you get this pot root, so of drinking. So it's literally, and that this second part, this top with the infinitive, and all of this second part really is in apposition to the tuto. So it explains, so you have said this well, what have you said well, and then it explains what it is. So it's literally the making for ourselves in every way a certain taking it easy of our drinking. So it's a defining genitive here. So you could translate the whole section here by something like, this you have spoken rather well, O Pausanias. For us to take precautions, you've got to put an us in here really, for us to take precautions in every regard, to take precautions in every way with respect to, or with regard to, some moderation in our drinking. So it's just a way of paraphrasing that a little bit. So I've translated the parascu asesthai as something like to take precautions, to prepare. And the reistonain, which is really literally an act of taking it easy, or a mildness, or an easiness, perhaps moderation, I thought might be good here. So you have spoken rather well, O Pausanias, for us to take precautions in every way in regard to some moderation in our drinking. Kaiga autos ami ton kthes bebaptismeno. Now this is meant to be slightly comic here. This is from baptisdo, to wash. It's literally, for I myself was among those who were baptized yesterday. Well, in the sense of perhaps soaked, we would say perhaps sozzled yesterday. So for I myself was one of those who was sozzled yesterday. Accusanta un auton efe eriximakon ton acumenu a kalos phanai legete. And he said that Euryximachus, the son of Acumenes, having heard them, that he said, indeed you lot, as is plural, have spoken well. Kai eti henos deamai humon acusai. I've got to go to the next page here. Pos eke prostot erosthai pinein agathon. So the first bit here is, I wish, furthermore, to hear from one of you. So I wish, furthermore, to hear from one of you. Now we get pos eke. Again, this is eke with this adverbial phrase here. So it's echo has, and the subject is Agathon. So it's literally how is Agathon with respect to, well, this is from ronumi, to be strong enough for, or to be fit for, and then with an infinitive drinking. So I could translate this as perhaps how Agathon feels, how he is, in regard to being fit for drinking, as a sort of almost an exegetic infinitive here. The infinitive was originally an old dative, and you see examples of that in Homer, where it's got that datival sense, and it occasionally comes into later Greek as well. Oudemos phanai, oudiautos eromai. So he said that Agathon said, Oudemos, no way, nor am I fit, nor am I strong. This is a perfect here, so I am in a position to be strong enough, essentially, I think. So, so in no way, for I myself in no way am in a state of being strong enough, i.e. pinein, to drink heavily. Hermion an ie hamin eidahos, hos eoiken emoi te kai aristodemo kai phaedro kai toisdi humas hoi dunatotoi, dunatotatoi, pinein nun ap erekate. Hermion, it's connected with the god Hermes, who is often a god of good luck, and so this word means something like a stroke of luck. So it would be a stroke of luck, Hamin, for us, he said, or as it seems to me understood, that for me and for Aristodemus and for Phaedrus and for these men, if you lot, the one who are literally the most powerful at drinking, most powerful to drink. Again, it's that epexegetic sort of infinitive here. So we would say the best drinkers. So it would be a stroke of luck if you lot, the best drinkers, now, ape recata, refused. This is from apon, apolego. So if you have refused, or perhaps if you had refused, perhaps being in a state of refusing. So if you lot, the best drinkers, now refuse. Hames mengar ie adunatoi. For we lot are continually adunatoi. We are weaklings. So we're not the best drinkers. And then there's lovely little sentence here, Socrate de ex airo logu. Literally, I exclude Socrates from this account. So I take out of the account Socrates. I discount Socrates from the account. Hikanos ga kaim photera. For he is capable of either way, amphotera. In other words, he can refrain from drinking, or he can drink with the best of them. Hosti ex archese auto hopoter an poiomen. So that, and this is impersonal, I think, it will be sufficient, it's a future from ex archeo, it will be sufficient for him, whatever thing we might do. So in other words, he's happy with whatever we do. Epede un moi doce udes ton paronton prothumos ekain proston polon pinein oinon. Issos an ego peritu methusgesthai oinon esti talethe legon herton an iein aedes. Since therefore it seems to me that none of those present, from parami, to have, or sorry, it's echo plus the adverb again, to be zealous, to be keen, with regard to, the top goes with the pinein, the drinking of much wine. Issos an, perhaps I, now this is again slightly funny expression here, I speaking the truth regarding drunkenness. This is an infinitive here, it's particular infinitive. Methusko is to get very drunk. It's not just drinking, but getting very drunk. So perhaps I, speaking the truth about high levels of intoxication, what a thing it is, perhaps I would be haton less aedes, less disagreeable. So this alpha privative, the aid here is connected with haidamai, of pleasure and so on, to enjoy. And Greek loves to do everything backwards. It loves a sort of double negative sense. So less disagreeable, we could turn it around and say something like more agreeable. So just to put that all bit together again, so perhaps I would be more agreeable if I spoke the truth regarding intoxication, what a thing it is. Emoi gade tutok ge oimai katadelon gegonenai ektes iatrikes hotikalapon tois anthropois he methuestin. For I indeed I think this, and the get is very emphatic, so I think this in fact indeed is katadelon, is self-evident, emoi, to me, and then we get the infinitive. So I think this to be very self-evident to me. From an iatrikes is a fairly vague word, it just means medicine in general. I think it's a feminine here. So from medicine, that he methe est, now this is this methe from the form from, well, it's connected with methusko here, that heavy drinking is, kalepon, is bad for mankind, tois anthropos. Al uti autos hekonenai poro ethelesai mi an pien uti aloi sum buliusaimi allos te kai cry palonta eti ectes proterias. Now this is again slightly awkward here. This ani took me a while. I had to go and have a look at what Dover said here. Dover says that the ani has the sense of get here, really. You can't translate it, and he takes, I think, both of these together to mean willingly. So it's, then we get an ute and ute. So neither would I myself wish willingly, perhaps to be a willing person, so hence willingly. Piein, aorist infinitive from pino, to drink. Poro is, of course, means far, but it probably has more the sense of here deeply. So, for neither would I myself wish willingly to drink deeply, nor would I advise anyone else, understand, to do that. Allos te kai, there's that standard idiom, especially one who is cry palonta. It's a funny word here. It means suffering from a hangover or a headache, or having a headache from drinking. So especially for someone who has a hangover still from the previous, probably would have supply hemeras here, from the previous day. So not only would I not wish willingly to drink deeply, nor would I advise anybody else, and especially for someone who has a hangover still from the previous day. And there we have some wise advice, and I'll finish the recording of this at this point, and we'll continue in the next recording.